Are you tired of getting stuck in the same division in arena mode? Do you want to climb the ranks and flex at other players so they know who's boss? Look no further, because we've got the tips and strategies to get you to champs fast. In this video, we'll share the secrets every player needs to know so you never have to worry about bus fare again. Your most straightforward method of earning arena points is getting eliminations. So here are the best ways to maximize your points earned from elims. Now, Open League is by far the easiest of all levels in arena. Why is that? Well, because there is no bus fare, which means the only consequence of getting eliminated is having to wait through a loading screen. You'll also notice that the points are a lot more generous with an extra bracket for placement in the top 50 and a few extra points per elimination. Now, you should take this opportunity to W key and get accustomed to the sweat. Now, this will help you later when you've got no choice but to be aggressive. Later, we'll show you the best 3 modes you need to play if you want to break past your own skill cap so you can always secure the elim. Attention gamers, are you ready to take your skills to the next level? Look no further than ProGuides.com. With our monthly subscription of just $7.99, you'll gain instant access to top-notch courses, boot camps, and even get 10% off coaching that'll help you make waves in the pro gaming community. Did you know one mode will give you more points than all the rest? One of the fastest ways to earn points through eliminations is to play trios. Now, this is because every kill your teammates make will also get added to your overall hype. Statistically speaking, this is also the game mode where you will have the most opportunities to raise your score to the max thanks to the distribution of players and teams. It also doesn't hurt that you have other players watching your back. So, if you know some good players that also want to go up fast, then you know who to call. It may not always be the coolest way to achieve victory, but keep an eye for any opportunity to third-party your opponents as well. Now, this can mean a few extra points for you, and this tactic can give you a little boost no matter what division you're in. When you leave Open League, you're gonna need to pay more attention to placement. Depending on your skill level, this could mean playing passively or finding a balance between passiveness and aggressiveness. Regardless, now is the time to start following one of the most common rules of competitive Fortnite: land uncontested. Do this to increase your chances of staying alive during the early game, and don't forget to start thinking about your loot path ahead of time. Being familiar with your drop spot and doing a similar path every time will give you an advantage in any fight, as well as guarantee that you get to every chest in the area as fast as possible. Making this a habit is one simple way that will guarantee you place higher in almost every game. One of the biggest mistakes you can make in Arena is focusing on points you can earn during the match. Instead, you should be more concerned with breaking even and having consistency. If every match results in you raising your score, then you've done a good job. But if you pay 60 hype in bus fare and end up getting wiped early for being reckless or hit by the storm surge for not taking enough risks, then you're only going to see that score decrease. So focus on preventing anything that might slow you down. This is the reason Arena can sometimes feel like a slog to get through. Also, don't forget to keep your head clear and take a break if you feel worn out. It may sound cliche, but too many players, both noobs and pros, get caught up in the grind only to get burned out. Now, let's talk about the game mechanic that catches every noob by surprise and keeps pros on their toes: Storm Surge. Generally, the storm is what pushes players closer to each other, which results in more players encountering each other as the match progresses. Arena and other competitive game modes take it a step further by having a cap of how many players should be alive in any given storm phase. Let's take a look. Stage 3, 64 players. Stage 4, 54 players. Stage 5, 44 players. Stage 6, 40 players. And Stage 7, 30 players. If there are more players alive than the cap in each of these phases, the game will cause Storm Surge to mill the player count. Now, this will deal 25 damage every 5 seconds and will affect the players who have seen the least action during the match. Now, this is why you need to get some damage in. That's right, not eliminations, but damage. Now, do this and you can beat the system at its own game. This is how it works. If there are 5 players who are doing poorly, the system will rank you based on damage dealt. So, get out of the list. You'll need to do enough damage so that you're no longer in that bottom 5. Even if you don't get an elimination, just finding a player and hitting them a few times and scooping can sometimes be enough to get you back in a safe position. This is why it is so important to go fully aggressive during the lower divisions. If you've just been camping this whole time, then you'll never survive the sweats in later divisions. Plus, now that you need to fight, there is no time to get accustomed to it when you go 1v1 against someone who's been grinding this whole time. Now, if you thought getting the calculations right for winning an arena is insane, then you should check out something we call calculated losing. If you get wrecked at the start of the match, you're just gonna watch your hype fall faster than a noob who failed skybasing. Just like an actual tournament, placement can make the difference between breaking even or falling off. So, if you ever find yourself getting caught in an unwinnable fight, turn tail and run. Now, you may not have been able to eliminate your opponent this time, but getting away fast ensures that you're still in the game. This also works towards the end game. Even if the storm has closed in, victory royales are the requirement that will give you the most score. However, you might be stumped by better opponents, a lack of resources, and sometimes even the direction the storm is heading in. So, if you know it's a losing battle because you literally have no ammo and you can't outfight your opponents, you might still be able to outlast them. In later divisions, player counts might not even budge as more players go passive, but even if the player count has been dropping slowly throughout the match, it is almost guaranteed to speed up during the endgame. One tactic you can use to make this work in your favor when you're all out of options is staying out of sight and spamming your healing items. Once your health bar is full, stay put as long as possible before diving into the storm. Keep in mind that this is a last resort. If you can still pull off a refresh, then you aren't out of the game just yet, and you should refrain from throwing the game. But if you're doomed, it's time to head into the storm. You'll still take damage, but odds are other players will be more focused on each other than on you. If you have chug splashes or floppers, now is the time to use them to keep your health from hitting zero. If you're lucky, those few extra seconds will earn you a higher placement. If you can, try to weave in and out of the storm to increase the time you have left in the match. Remember, there are only 5 players between the top 25 and top 20. There's another 5 places between top 10 and top 5, and there's plenty of opportunities here to still rank up, especially if you make it to the top 4. So, if you think those few extra seconds don't count, then the numbers don't lie. Before we move on, it's time for the question of the day. What changes do you want to see in Arena? Or do you think it's perfect just the way it is? Leave your responses in the comment section below. Arena isn't a mode with exploits you can use to multiply your score or go up multiple ranks per game like XP. The only way to truly get points is through eliminations, placements, and wins. What makes the most difference in how fast you rank up are your methods of achieving these requirements, as well as your consistency in doing so. If you're not playing these 3 game modes, you're not going to improve fast enough. Don't forget to click on the link below and visit ProGuides.com for coaching opportunities. In Arena, everything will ultimately be decided during the endgame, so you need to practice for this in zone wars. You'll get more experience in fights, but you'll also be able to put those high ground retakes to good use. This will also prepare you for when you encounter those stacked endgames. You have to focus on multiple players above, below, and around you. When it comes down to it, the most important thing you need to learn is how to 1v1 an opponent. This means no distractions and no third parties. Until the endgame begins, most fights are going to be 1v1, so use this time to test your strength against stronger opponents. Learn your edits, practice piece control, and do whatever it takes to get you in a game-winning position. Finally, realistic PvPs will take you away from the usual island and the more controlled conditions of a 1v1 or zone war. You'll get the full taste of playing on a terrain with multiple players. This and zone wars are great for learning how to fight under pressure. If this video helped you rank up, leave a like and ring that bell. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest tips and tricks to master Fortnite.